you'll get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral like a crazy cat all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today. All right, all right. If I can find the easy button, here we are live. Master disaster. Hey, no. It is Tuesday. We're in the Voice Lab. Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi coming at you today. And we're going to come at you with some more tips and tricks of what we're doing and what's going on. And it's all about getting seen, getting heard. And you know what? The next best thing is getting paid. Why? Because not only do you got to pay your bills, but you want to have fun doing, you want to reward yourself. You want to celebrate and have a good time. And we've got some good stuff coming at you, some tips and tricks. And what this does is it's going to pair nicely with the taste of the learning lab that we do on the school platform. That's what we're looking at doing here today and every week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, when we come at you, we're going to talk about tips and tricks, give you some tips and tricks and the topics of the Voice Lab and going. I can talk today, right? You know, have I had enough coffee this morning? I don't think so. I talked so much last week. I don't know about you, but you know, we had a great time with the invisible to influential and just finished all those videos. So I am all talked out. I don't know about you, but today we're going to come to you with the topic of why your lead magnet isn't pulling its weight, right? It's not doing its thing. It's not getting on the BMX like a good kid and going out and jumping the hills. It is they're just playing Donkey Kong still. It's got its Nintendo Switch from the way back machine. But we're going to talk about that today and give you some benefits on that. So let's get into it. We've got a busy day. I don't know about you, Colleen, but busy day. And I've got my cool Voice Lab mug, maybe. There we go. Yeah.
Cheers. Here we go.
Ta-da! Voice Lab
And our
mug.
shirts.
Yeah,
Support the
hey. Oh
shirts
yeah.
also.
Yeah,
There we
you're
go.
right. Got to have the merch, got
Yeah.
to have the products, right? So let's get into it today. Let's give a few tips and tricks. We're gonna get to it. And but you know, one of the benefits of the lead magnet is your clients, your engagement, right? That's the main point. You want to discover why you're doing more is often the fastest way to convert isn't the fastest way to convert less, right? You know, We're talking about the lead magnet in the back office, you know, the boring tech stuff, right? That a lot of people don't do, but you do very well is that's your zone of genius is helping people figure all that out, right? When you get the lead magnet, it can seem like a disaster getting into your CRM system and people just want to make it so technical and so hard, but the point is to set it, forget it and let it do its magic, right?
Absolutely. Yesterday I was talking to somebody because we discussed this yesterday in Learning Lab also, talking about the lead magnets. And a lot of people's lead magnets lead to a one-on-one call. But the truth is that's kind of a big jump sometimes, right? Like maybe people aren't ready for that. And so I was speaking to somebody yesterday and they were saying that they don't like that jump into a call lead magnet. They want one that's like, I think it's an intro book, like an intro to what they do. And so they want to give out this little booklet. And I told them, that's good too. That really works well also. And the reason that I opt for that, Nicole, and I don't opt for it all the time, but I like this and I like the concept behind it is that if they get a book from you, or let's say that I have a healthy routine planner, they get that healthy routine planner, and as they go through day by day, it's 30 days planned out, and I can set up a nurture email sequence that runs automatically that will say to them, hey, you grabbed that. If you haven't opened it, knock it open now and let's do this together. You're going to see that in the first chapter on day one, this is what you'll find. And then a couple days later, I'll be like, send another email that goes out automatically. Remember, we're not doing more work, we're working smarter, not harder. And so, automated, there's another email that goes out a few days later that says, hey, you should be on day four. And day four is all about this. If you have problems with this and you really need to learn to time block, then grab my free time block worksheet. What am I doing? I'm building trust by doubling down on value, right? And so these are all free little things I have in the background, anyways, but they're interacting with me. They're clicking the link to grab that extra freebie that they didn't even think about maybe needing. And so as they go through my little book, they get all these other little things too. I'm value stacking. I'm building trust.
Exactly.
It's very easy for them at the end of that to get into a call. And so that's kind of a bridge of a lead magnet, right? Where it's not like, hey, I'm in your face, let's get on one to one, because some people aren't comfortable quite yet. They need something a little bit different. So,
But that's why it's called a nurture sequence, right? Because you're
right,
nurturing the engagement. You know, you can jump on right away, dependent upon the place you're at. So if we're talking a lead magnet, because we want people to get seen and heard, you got a lead magnet from your networking event you just spoke at, whether you did a 30-second bit or you did a 2 to 5 minute bit, or you were the guest, the main guest on in someone's networking, like a lunch and learn or something. What happens is that you grab the mic, you talk to people, you already let them know where you're at. So dependent upon your audience, you should take that action, and you've got a workflow that people are going to go into. So if you're on a summit and you had a call to action, people went to the summit, remind them who you are and say, hey, I'm Nicole, I'm Colleen, I'm Bob Smith, whatever. Hello. You remember me from the summit? I'm the cool dude that does this really cool trick, right? I pull a rabbit out of my hat. And don't forget to get my super secret tips on pulling rabbits out of your hat. That's basically what you want to do. And let people know what to do, where to they subscribe to you. They want to hear from you. That's the magic of that. And we have talked to a few people recently to say that they're not ready to do that, but you know that someday is not on the calendar. So if you're not ready to do it, that's okay. We'll meet you where you're at. That's all right. But please realize that if you're not ready, then don't don't be busy being busy and just show up in places if you're not ready. Don't show up on someone's stage if you're not ready and in a sense, waste the host time. It's not fair to
right,
the
right.
host if you don't come ready, if you don't have your media kit, if you don't have a lead magnet, you don't have a YouTube channel, you don't have a video, an evergreen, a gift to give to people. If you don't have it, the point of you being there, it does not support the host, whether the host is you. And I have a lot of clients that when we're hosting summits, it can get a bit frustrating, and that's why I offer concierge service to say, hey, you know what? Let me call the speakers. And sometimes it's just the magic of walking them through online with tech, and you
Sure.
do this too, whether getting on a video or getting on a group call to say, hey, let me show you a few simple, three simple steps, how to sign up, where to insert the link, and here you go. Here's what you've got here. Let me set you up so it's all in the back office. The website's all built for the event. We've got Devastated to Divine Alignment coming up, and there's a few phone calls I've gotten on and a few meetings I've gotten on with people because I want them to list themselves on the website. People get to see you as the expert speaker. They get to know what your talk is about. They get to read your bio. They know what time you're speaking, and they know what your giveaway is. And so the magic is all set up. So the day of the show, and you come on, the curtains open, you turn on your Zoom, and everything's online. It's all lined up. And that way you can show up and shine. Everything's set up. We want to fully support you. You come on the stage. It's set it and forget it, ready to go. We can, even get talk about workflows. And I've done that with some of my hosts. When we hosted, uh, um, when I worked with you on your summit, you had everything together,
Well, I had a
which
lot of help
was,
from Nicole.
but
But you know what, Nicole, there's so much to unpack here. I want to back up to what you said about speaking. You're on there speaking, people are grabbing your freebie, and then people drop the ball. Number one, if you follow up with a lead sequence, so an email sequence, follow up to all those people that grab your freebie or that were at the summit and qualified to get your freebie. You follow up with them with an email. Um, you are steps ahead of everybody who doesn't follow up. So you start out as if there were 12 speakers, then you're one of 12. And suddenly only six of them follow up, then you become one of six, right? And you follow up twice, double back with them and say, hey, you've had time to break open my freebie and look at it. Would you love to jump on a call and talk about it? Let's do that. Here's my link. That's your second follow up. And now you're one of three. And so that's the process there, where speaking actually becomes the bridge that I talked about with that I could use maybe a booklet as a lead magnet. This is the bridge there. Now, you're saying if people don't feel comfortable speaking, they need to get prepared. They need to, but what else can they do? So you're not comfortable speaking. We get it. I've been there. Nicole's been there. Okay, I'm kidding. I've never been there. I was born speaking, but just ask
that's
my
true.
mother. She'll I'm the girl with the kindergarten report card that said, nice girl, but my, she talks a lot. So, what we can do instead of that is share a QR code and a logo for you. Sponsor an event so that during the breaks and throughout the summits and the speaking events, your information is still being seen. Get in there for 2 minutes and just say, hey, do your 2 minute intro. You have done that everywhere in networking. You can do it in an event. Get a commercial made. We also offer that. So you can have a logo and a QR code made by Nicole to be put in any of these speaking events. You can also have a commercial made to be put in these speaking events and to be like played partway through a podcast so that you're still gaining the visibility. People are still hearing about you. And that's the thing as entrepreneurs, we do have to be everywhere. We have to keep spreading that out there, you know. So there's a lot going on here. And I think that you know, another thing is when I thought about holding a summit, it was so overwhelming, Nicole, because I can do it all. I know I can. I've been doing it all myself for years, right? But I also knew that I couldn't do it well by doing it myself. And I wanted it done well. I wanted it to be a perfect representation of my business, who I am, and those things. And that's why I hired the pro. I hired Nicole. And guess what Nicole did? She told me where to be and what costume to wear at what time. And that's not difficult. I can handle that. And she sat down with my speakers that I had chosen and she helped them. Like she was saying, these were speakers. I know there were a handful of my speakers that hadn't ever spoken before. And she sat down with them and went step by step in a Zoom, sharing screen and showing them how to fill out the form to get registered and apply to speak. And so these little things meant that I didn't have to do it. I could just focus on my end, making sure my presentation was prepared and my back office was prepared for this. So I think that that's something to remember too. You know, when you're going in this, it's not like, hey, here's a mic, jump on the stage. This isn't karaoke night. I mean, you don't have to like have a couple drinks first. That's not what we're doing. We want you to show up and shine as your best self. And so that's why we offer the Learning Lab. That's why we have the school group, so that we can enable you and help you to have all of the tools and resources you need at your fingertips, and also have the confidence in your own ability to actually get up and speak and present well. And if you're not to that point, we have other resources like commercials and logos and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this everything is wrapped around visibility and saying, hey, the support, right? The concierge service of what I do, of what you do, but the behind the scenes magic to make sure that you have the right support. You don't have to, you should be able to come in, drive the car, and leave, right? You want to hit the key, hit the button, do the magic, and the thing goes forward, right? The vehicle moves. There's velocity, there's speed, there's all these cool things that it's gassed up, ready to go. You don't need to open the hood and look in the engine anymore. And this is the support. And there's so many speakers that offer support as well, whether they're building websites, doing customer relationship management, working on social media. There's a gentleman that was in the workshop I held last night, and his business is virtual assistants. That's what he does, so he can come up to the mic and be ready, but he's prepared. So whatever you need to set yourself up in that foundation, if you're still trying 5 years, 10 years later, and we're still having the same conversation, and I go, hey, friend, we just had this conversation 5 years ago and yesterday. It's okay if you don't know what you're doing right at this point. Stay in your zone of genius. And your customers want that. Your customers want you to show up, and your customers want you to represent them in the best manner. And if you're a coach doing maybe some Reiki healing, the client wants to know that you're going to be there fully in your energetic magic and be there for them. And that's what this is all about. It's all about setting up that foundation and the engagement, however you decide to do it. There's a lot of voices out there. But even on the school platform, and hit that link that's in the chat. Get in the Voice Lab group on the school platform. Talk to each other, get to know each other. Come into we've got Solutions Lab in early in the morning. There's a Solutions Lab Thursday and Friday evenings, a morning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have Learning Labs on Monday, and that's where we get to workshop this information and say, hey, what do I need to do? Come with your questions. We want you to discover how this works and really building the magnet that's going to attract the right customers. And in this, when you show up and whether you're running a summit yourself, you're doing the workflow in the back, the most important part is for you to show up and shine. You've got to have a media kit. It could be as simple as a Google Doc. It just needs your social media links. It's got a short bio, a longer version of a bio, and a lead magnet that you can give to your host. Take advantage of it. It's a selling point. It's another place for immersive marketing. What's immersive marketing? Is full marketing 360 style, right? Immersive marketing could be in virtual reality. It could be on a virtual event. It could be live and in person at a networking, or maybe you've got a larger event and you're just meeting people in your community. You're constantly marketing yourself. And if you don't have to worry about all the stuff in the background and you show up and shine, those hosts will invite you back. They want to know that they could just sit back and be like, okay, you got this. Keep talking. I can take another sip of coffee. You're ready to do that. We don't want you to end the burnout. We want you to shift that information overload in intentional conversation. I don't know what's going on today. Must be allergies, but really creating clear steps. When you do this, that host is going to invite you back, and people are going to want to work with you, and people are going to want to refer you, right?
Right. And so when we're going onto these summits or these stages to speak, and it doesn't matter if it's a podcast that you're going onto or if you're actually going to a summit event or where you're the keynote speaker, either way, you need to have that lead magnet in place. And that's what we're talking about today is the lead magnet. You need to have a lead magnet in place. It needs to be evergreen. We talked about this yesterday. It has got to be evergreen. What does that mean? That means that it grows like an evergreen tree. It is there. It is green all the time. It is alive. It doesn't lie dormant in the winter. It doesn't lie dormant when you're on vacation. It is actually alive. The link to it is clickable all the time. People can get to it and they can utilize it. So automation on the back end is really important, but also making sure that works, and just keep it and have that so that maybe 5 months down the road, somebody's cleaning out their mailbox, their email, and they find that in their spam. They're like, oh, hey, wait, I need to see this. And they can click it and it'll still work. And you would not believe how many times people circle back around. That goes back to the fact that people have to have so many touch points with you, so much trust built up before they open things. And so that's just one more touch point. Let them have that. Now, if you're on a stage and you're speaking and your lead magnet is to jump on a call, that makes sense because you've already spent the time, be it 30 minutes or 45 minutes, talking about your business, about the solutions that you provide and the benefit to working with you and sharing those things. And these people grab that spot with you to get on your calendar. What happens then? Do they just go book a call and that's it? Or are they going to get a reminder email that says, hey, I'm so excited that you came to the summit. This is what I want to go over with you in our one on one. And these are the solutions I'm providing. Please bring your challenges with you. Bring a notebook and a pen. Close your tabs. Be ready to really apply yourself because I'm going to give you the best that I have during this call without pitch slapping you, right? And so you get in there, talk to them more. And if it's natural and if it's a fit, you'll both know. And then it moves on to something more, right? But I do have people that come in, they just want to know what are the first two ways that I can implement this week to simplify my systems, to really simplify my business. What's a step I can take now that's not going to cost me anything? And what happens is then they go and try that step, right? See if it works for them. Meanwhile, is that it? Do I just wait to hear from them? No, I follow back up. There's a follow-up email that says, hey, did those steps work for you? If they did, I'd love to jump on a call and see where we can take this, right? See how much further I can help you with this. And you keep going from there. But you have to have a strong magnet that's magnetic and draws them in, provides the solutions that they want. You're opting to not have that be a call. Maybe your audience doesn't want to call. It needs to be interactive, just like your call would be interactive, right? There needs to be something. Maybe you link it to a blog post. Maybe you link it to something else, a group you have, something like that. Link it to sign up for your newsletter, anything like that, so that they're getting more of a relationship built with you. And it's got to be magnetic,
Exactly.
it's got to be strong, and it has to be flexible. And that's there's a lot to doing that. But once you have it, this is the once and done system. Once you have that system in place, then you're ready to move on to the next step, which is more clients, more stages, things like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say, so in the chat on Digital Creatrix, so on in YouTube here, Marlene is saying hello from Puerto
Oh, hey,
Vallarta. I
Marlene.
hope you're on a fantastic vacation, or if you're living there, you're living the good life. Sounds amazing. And Angelina is saying hello. She's saying, "Hey, what's up?" So thank you for watching. This is a lead magnet in itself. A podcast is a lead magnet. It's a way to connect. It's evergreen in the sense that we know it's coming on Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And it's here. We're connecting with people. We're engaging with people. People can come on the platform. They can offer this. This is something you can offer people to go watch these videos. Bring the guest and constantly connect with people. Share
Good
your lead
morning,
magnet on a
Marlene.
podcast.
Good
Yeah.
morning, Angelina. And that the thing is too, that another way that this is evergreen is because the replay is always available and people can go and listen to it over and over. And that's why I tell people when they come on my Monday morning business foreplay podcast is that bring your lead magnet. I drop it in the comments and people can go. I put that in my group on Facebook. I put it in my membership groups. People can go watch those and grab your lead magnet at any time. So that's super important to have that lead magnet, right? And then if you're not comfortable with that, let's go back to the step that you can do, right? If I were just starting over and I was an introvert and didn't want to appear on camera, maybe I'm working up the courage to get there and I'm just not there yet, but my business needs a little boost, then I'm going to go ahead and sponsor an event. And I've done that where I sponsored an event. And when I sponsored an event, they just ran my little banner with my business information on it. I've done that a couple different times, right? Now, Nicole has a process where she can create a QR code, much like she has on her screen, and a logo. would be like she has her logo on the screen. Yeah, just like that. And they can be there during the podcast. So people are seeing that. And then there's the mention, hey, we're sponsored by Nicole at Digital Creatix today, right? Or
How
whatever
does
that
Vanna do
looks
it?
like.
Sorry,
There you go. Yeah.
my Vanna moment.
I don't have one. I just have grandkids. But but you see where I'm going with that, right? And then maybe you want to step it up a little bit more. Maybe you have a message and you want it heard. You just don't want to be looking at the camera. Let's make it create a commercial, right? And get that message out there in 60 seconds to the audience. And it goes, once again, it's evergreen. It keeps going and keeps going. So people are constantly hearing about you. And then you get a little feedback from it and you build a little bit more courage. And then finally, you're able to get on a podcast. You're able to get on a podcast. And if it makes you nervous, like it made me nervous, you can have your podcast be interview style. It doesn't need to be a presentation. You can say to Nicole, here are the questions I'm comfortable answering. Will you please ask these? I'm prepared for this. And Nicole will go right
Exactly.
through those, right? Any host would do that. They'll go right through those and just ask you those questions. You have your answers here, and you can just go right through them and answer them. Just you can even practice in advance, right? And then you can move on to maybe I want to do a presentation with slides so my face isn't seen, right? And then you can
Exactly. So there's a question from Marlene. I want to, sorry,
yeah,
but she's putting in here first. She says she's living the good life, and I want to address her question because that's what we're here for. She says, "What website do I need behind for it? Lead pages, but what is easiest and cheapest behind any lead magnet?" And that's probably the question. The question you're answering there is about yes, you can I would say, the easiest thing for you to have a lead magnet is, what would you suggest if somebody's starting from that? Like I use something like Thrivecart, or you can use something like Go High Level, and you can have a link and a form where people put their magic of the email address, and you can constantly connect with them.
absolutely. And so I actually utilize that system inside Go High Level, and I have a landing page that has my header. So the top looks like my brand, and then a little bit of information about the lead magnet, and then a form they fill out, and it's emailed to them. On the back side of that, as soon as they hit submit, up pops the page that says, "Thank you for submitting this form. Please check your email for your download or to book your call or whatever." Or you can do it right here. And sometimes it'll have a link to download something right there or the link to book right there, right? And so that's important. But, the next step too in this whole summit thing is that if you're if you don't want to do slides, you get comfortable and you can just get on there and chat about what you do with your business. Nicole offers many opportunities on her summits for Q&A, and that really sets her summits apart because you get to answer questions from your audience. You get to really integrate with them and get to know them and their needs and
Yes.
answer any questions they have about what you present because maybe something wasn't clear. But you also get to interact with other speakers. So that is also a good time.
Yeah, and so what I'm just messaging to Marlene, and this goes to anybody, absolutely. You come on the stage, and I think it's the engagement, and what I had to what I mentioned to the audience, and what we got out of it, was that what people love was, hey, now we can turn on the cameras and engage, and we had people come in and address the speakers, ask a question, tell about their business, and maybe have a question that they had a pain point on, and they can give a solution. It gives you a better chance, and we're doing this in Devastated to Divine Alignment. There'll be a speakers panel, and in CEO Hacker, I'll put that information in the chat as well. But it gives you a chance to connect with the speakers. And Marlene says that she says Go High Level seems to be the most popular. It is because it's an all-in-one inclusive place that has affiliate links, place for your courses. It's got a place where you can do all the magic. You can have your lead magnet in there. Marlene, I'm going to put I'll put Colleen's in there information in there. But the other thing is that join the Voice Lab. I'll put the link in there again. It's there's a freebie account in there. The point of this is come to the Solutions Lab. Come talk to me. Come talk to Colleen. Ask your questions. We've got Learning Lab where we touch on the topics that we're talking about on this very podcast. You can pop in, and you're in a different time zone, but that's why we have morning and nights in there. And if there's a time that you're looking for something, we can work on that and then just come in there and answer that, and I'll get all those links ready for you. What would you say? Why is Go High Level GHL so popular there, Colleen? Is one stop shop, I guess.
It is the one-stop shop, and so it's kind of like the Walmart of the world, if you would, of the internet world, right? You can go get everything you want there. And so you can easily create your lead magnet landing page there. Marlene, you were asking that question. And then what I like about it, what I really like about it and try to teach my clients is that you can then clone that. So let's say that for a while you have a lead magnet that is hopping on a call, right? And then suddenly you want to change that to be a booklet or something different. You can simply push a button and clone that and do a little bit of editing on that page. It still represents you, it still has the same header, same footer. You just fill out the information in the center to match your new lead magnet or new whatever you're presenting. And then you have another landing page made literally within 5, 10 minutes. And so it's the simplification that you find inside Go High Level when you know what you're doing. I will say that I didn't know what I was doing when I first started, and I had a sub account under somebody else's agency. And every time I wanted to know something, they told me a little bit about what I needed, but they didn't tell me everything. What they did instead was told me a price to get it done for me. And I didn't want to keep paying to get it done. I wanted to learn. And so that's one of the things that I really give my clients inside Go High Level is I make complete looms for them. First of all, I create everything for them so that it is easily clonable. And then I create looms of what I'm doing so that at any point they can learn without stress and overwhelm the process that I did to create that and they can duplicate it. So I think Go High Level really, I mean, and it's easy to link to your nurture sequences. It's easy to link to your calendar. It's all in one platform. Otherwise, when you have everything in different places, if one link breaks, if one little link in that chain that hooks your calendar to your email to your lead magnet breaks, it was all in vain and it cost more. So,
Yeah. And that's true. So we want to look at what is easy to use, what's going to marry together. And if you use GHL and you have other things like a Thrive Cart or Keep or something, you can use them together and you can learn to use it. You can come to Solutions Lab. We can talk about it and share with you. That's the thing. We want everybody to be successful. And in business, be successful on the stage. It's easy. Turn on your camera, come in, boom, you're there. Let's learn this. You learn by doing it. And there's so many people that are hungry for the information. But for me, when started in my business, it was like, what's the how? What are the exact steps that I need? You want to hire people to not just do the coaching, but they're going to show you how it's done. They're going to walk you through it and be able to provide the solutions. But there's a lot of, there's always these big promises, and that's not what we're looking at. We're looking back at how do we engage properly? How do we engage without the stress and overwhelm? And how do we have that build that good community? And that's what this is all about. And you know what? If like you were saying earlier, Colleen, it it is a if you don't want to come on camera, that's not your big thing. That's okay. I've hosted events in virtual reality for domestic violence victims to come on the stage. That way, then come in like a panda bear or giraffe. You use social media where you're comfortable, where your zone of genius is. If you can't be on camera or won't come on camera, use some form of that. Sponsor a program. Maybe it's going to take you a while to get on that stage, but if you can be a speaker and a sponsor, and that's what that is. You can be a sponsor on the podcast, on the Voice Lab, on Monday morning business foreplay, on the Pain Point podcast, which is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And we're going to have Lynn Lionhood on there. And she's got great networking and connection tips. So watch that tomorrow, be on all these same channels. But with that being said, you can sponsor. You can come in. You're always marketing. So come on camera, be ready. You're going to talk to your avatar. You're going to talk to the aligned audience. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about doing good in the community and building you up. And that's the most important thing is to get that. We want to get you paid. That's what it is. Get seen, get heard, so you can definitely get paid.
well,
And
and Nicole, sometimes I think that people get confused. We've talked about this earlier this week. I think people get confused because so many summits to join speaking events, you have to have 1,000 or 500 people on your email list, or maybe 3,000 people on your email list. And so they feel like They can't do it because they don't have that. And what I've found, and I've said over and over, is when I had 37 people on my email list, my open rate was like 88%. I had great relationships. Now that I get hundreds of people on my email list, my open rates drop, right? Because it's not as many engaged people. And it's the same way in summits. I paid tons of lots and lots of money to be a speaker on a summit that went out to 80,000 people, and it was nothing but crickets. But when you get in a more intimate setting, and just consider this, I mean, do you want to be one of a crowd, or do you want to be in a setting where you can actually communicate and build relationships, right? And so when you get in a smaller setting, don't ever let that be discouraging to you, because every time that I've been in an intimate setting for a speaker event of some sort, I've gained clients from it.
Well, that's just it. And people booked, right? People are
Yeah,
talking to you. People booked with you. People booked with the other speakers. They want to know about their products and service. And the magic of the speaker panel was that the audience got to participate. The audience got to ask questions, even whether we're doing you're coming on the summit and talking with a presentation, or you're just doing, interview style. There's a chance at most points, or at least even at the end of the talk, is to have a few questions. Maybe the audience has questions, maybe, and that what it provokes thought, it provokes critical thinking, and it provokes the exchange of ideas. And when we have this, people book, and yes, a small crowd, but they feel more comfortable. The audience absolutely feels more comfortable being like, hey, I can't tell you, I got on phone calls with audience members right after that. We had one-to-one immediately after that and said, hey, I have got a question about your upcoming summit, or I want to be on your next stage. I booked somebody to come in as a speaker. What magic is that? Because they got to participate. And I didn't get to see them, you know, it, and they've come in and out as an audience member of different events, and it took a little while, but the magic was the soul-led leadership. When you're leading from within, when you're on the stage, you've got your lead magnet set up, you made everything simple, you're feeling good, you're feeling comfortable, and boom, there it is. And it's from the servitude of someone to be able, the blessing of to be able to give somebody the stage and say, hey, I want to shine and I want to show your voice your worth, because you're worthy to come on the stage, you're worthy to be on my stage. I have a place for you, and I have an audience that wants to engage with you. And that's where that is. Sometimes it's the speakers that do the exchange. Sometimes it's the speakers of where you're going to do your business. And sometimes it's the audience members. It takes time. You're out there. You're not talking, whether you feel like you're talking to yourself on the camera, you want to come in on a podcast as a guest, and we have places for that. That's why we have these packages, and just saying, hey, come to the Brew and Stew. You get two podcasts. With that, go this brew and stew spotlight.com. Is that what that is? And it's in the
media
chat as well.
spotlight, Bruin
Media
Stew Media
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Thanks. Exactly. And that's in the chat. Those links are in there. Learn
Yep,
more about that. If you want to be a speaker, you want to sponsor, you want to come on a summit, you want to do a summit yourself. All this is building you up to market yourself to your own event. And when you have your own event, you have the ownership and the control of bringing in the speakers in your group. And, if you're like, hey, I can't get speakers, I've got a list, but you probably have a group. You can even bring speakers on your stage from your clients. Maybe it's your clients that are your best power partners. Maybe it's your clients that you want to edify and say, hey, so and so went through this journey. She's got a message she wants to share on the stage. You can bring her to your stage because she's your client. And there has been a monetary exchange. So if we look at the full picture, where does that happen business wise? But there's something you're servicing, you're doing good, and you're showcasing those clients. And they're your best testimony, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And so a powerful reminder here is that your lead magnet doesn't need to prove everything that you know. It just needs to open the door and share what steps are next, right? Because that's what people need. They need small bites. They need to know just a little bit more about what they can do next, what they can expect, how to connect with you, and they need to make that connection. to build the trust, right? And so that's where we're at with that. And make sure that if you if you have clients but you still feel like you really don't have speakers, really talk to them because you may be surprised how many people want to speak but feel like they're not prepared or they're not at that stage yet. They don't know how to do that confidently. But once you talk to them and explain the help that's there and the processes that are there, then they're more open to it because so many people want to, but they're just a little bit scared, right? And it really is a great way to grow your business.
It is a great way to grow your business. And I'll say, look, if you can handle 30 seconds, if you can handle 2 minutes, if you can handle 5 minutes in a networking group and you've got a great call to action, you can handle the stage for a few minutes, or you can come in on interview style. Or we have connections to people if you want coaching. Uh, you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
coaching to your call to action. Have a call to action, have a strong call to action. Whether that's your call to action to get out of here and go change your tire, or leave here and feel better because you've done some breath work with someone. There's an exchange, there's a tip, they got to feel it. Or hey, if you take this lead magnet and you put it in here and you build a form and you can collect people's information. Those are tips and tricks of something you can do now, something you can do later, some great writer downers, and people have that. So that's what this group and these podcasts are all about, is that there's a community that wants you to rise above it all and shine in your business and be the expert. People want to hear from you, but if you're the best kept secret, I don't know about you.
That's so true. And so just a reminder too that you can pop in the Learning Lab and you can pop in Solutions Lab. You know, Learning Lab is going to teach you things. Solutions Lab is where you come and you say, "Hey, this is kind of the outline I had for doing a lead magnet. This is what I wanted it to be, but I'm not sure how to put it together." And that's where we can say, okay, how about this? How about this? And the thing is that the more eyes you have on it, looking at it and helping hands trying to help you sort it out, the more helpful it is, the quicker things get done, the better perspective you have of it. And so that's really the time and place where we can sit down and just really help you to clarify your lead magnet and get that ready so that it packs a powerful punch, so that it builds that bridge and the trust that you need.
Exactly. Exactly. You want that trust. It's the know, like, and trust. And people want to hear that you're saying the same consistent message because they can start to adapt to that message and understand what you're really about. Clear, concise messaging. This is what it's all about is lead the you're building your leads. It's lead generation, whether you're running a summit, listing the events on LinkedIn, or where you're listing everything. We can always learn more in there. So it's all about why your lead magnet today is pulling its weight. And impression doesn't equal effectiveness. So it's not just about the data, it's about the execution on the end. I know everybody wants data. I like data. I'm a tech nerd. But in the end, statistics are only that. They're only numbers. It's the actual engagement and the buying. With that clear call to action, and you want people to press the button. And so today we've shared information and benefits on Discover why you're doing more and it's not equaling more. It's converting actually less. Also, to learn how to strip your lead magnet down to the one job that it must do. And that's your call to action to the next step and building a lead magnet that attracts the right people. It's got to be your branding, it's got to be your message. Don't buy it someone else's lead magnet, and especially share it if it's not sending your message. So that's what we are talking about today. Get on the school platform. We've got everything listed there. We also have a classroom where you get things of like, what is a virtual summit? What do I need to do? What's the power behind it? And some webinar slides. So you can have some slides for your stage time, and we want to set you up with the magic. So that's all in the back office. Come join those groups and get do the thing. 2026 is here, and it's time to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think just show up authentically. Nobody's expecting perfection, at least not around me, because if they are, they're in the wrong spot.
Show
But
up.
really, I value the intimacy of the smaller groups. I value being able to work with my clients one on one and really build relationships. And I think that it's so much less intimidating. Like I think I was physically sick for a week when I knew I was speaking at a summit in front of 80,000 people. I was like, that's who wants to do that, right? And then to have nothing from it. And really, it just was a total waste of time. So I think that you really need to think and consider when you're doing things where you're going to get the support that you need to grow your business because everybody needs support. I know in this online world, so many times it can feel so lonely as an entrepreneur and like you have all of these things to do. But what if you stepped into a group where there were people ready to help? What if you stepped into a group where you could get honest feedback and where you could get actual steps that you can take to move the needle in your business this year? And that's what we've got going on over here at Voice Lab.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching it if you're watching it on the replay, and thanks for the engagement. That's what this is all about in the chat on YouTube. I hope that helped Marlene answer your questions. And Angelina, thanks for being here. You guys rock. All right now. Bye bye. Bye bye.